Good evening, South Mississippi. Meteorologist Taylor Graham here, joining you from the newsroom tonight on what is going to be a very cold night, a bit of a shock to our system because at this point we are not acclimated to winter-like temperatures. Just a heads up that by tomorrow morning we are going to be in the mid to upper 30s, and then things are going to be getting even colder Monday night into Tuesday. And you may have been able to tell today that things are turning cooler. It has been very breezy. We did see a big cold front move in early this morning. Behind it, it has been very breezy, and that is going to set the stage for a very chilly night, or I would even say a cold night, bone chilling for some of us with that strong breeze out of the north and northwest. So let's look at that forecast overnight tonight. Temperatures dropping quickly. We've already dropped into the 50s. We are well on our way to reaching the mid to upper 30s by early Monday morning. If you're going to be out and about near the sunrise, even a little bit after that, it's going to stay chilly, cold, I would say, and even breezy. So we're looking at actual temperatures in the mid to upper 30s, but notice there that wind out of the north going to be fairly strong, even overnight tonight. So when you factor in the wind chill tomorrow morning is going to be in the upper 20s in several locations. I think this is going to be the first day or night where you'll have to whip out some of your winter gear, especially if you're sensitive to the cold. And I would think a lot of us at this point are, just because we haven't been seeing temperatures or wind chills like these for quite some time. So tomorrow morning, it is going to be feeling more like winter rather than fall, and we are in for another cold night, an even colder night, I would say, Monday night into Tuesday. That's where we are going to be under a freeze watch. This goes for all of South Mississippi. It is really looking like this is going to be our first freeze of the season, and this even goes for coastal areas. It extends into parts of Louisiana, coastal Alabama, even into parts of the Florida Panhandle. So Old Man Winter making maybe a slightly early appearance this year for South Mississippi. People, pets, and plants are definitely going to need protection from the cold tomorrow night and into Tuesday. There are some signs that some inland areas could be flirting with the mid-20s at times by early Tuesday morning. So if you have any outdoor exposed pipes, not a bad idea to make sure that those are protected as well, especially if you live in Stone and George counties. Those areas are going to have the best chance of seeing temperatures in the mid to upper 20s Monday night and into Tuesday. As for coastal areas south of I-10, we're more so looking at the low 30s. But again, people, pets, and plants across the board need to be protected. You may want to also consider protecting your outdoor exposed pipes as well. As of right now, we are in the upper 50s in Gulfport, still very breezy. We have winds out of the north and northwest, seeing some wind speeds at 20 miles per hour. We've had gusts higher than that today. Dew points have dropped into the upper 30s. That also means we have some very dry air in place, and I'll show you in just a few moments. We have a red flag warning in effect for the day tomorrow. What that basically means is to avoid outdoor burning because it's going to stay breezy and it's also going to be very dry. The relative humidity is going to stay low. Well, what a difference a day makes. Compared to this time yesterday, temperatures roughly 10 to 15 degrees cooler here in South Mississippi. They've even had a much bigger temperature change to our north into parts of North Mississippi. And it looks like as of 7 o'clock, Tunica now sitting at 39, 43 in Tupelo. That colder air is continuing to head in our direction. With that wind out of the north, that's helping to move that cooler air farther to the south. It's what we call advection. And taking a look well to our north in the northern plains, into parts of the Midwest, they are seeing the teens, or excuse me, not the teens, 20s, not quite that cold just yet, 20s and 30s. And that colder air is going to continue to move farther to the south. As we take a look in the upper levels, we have a huge trough. This is a big dip in the jet stream. That is allowing a lot of that colder air to move in from Canada, and it's been able to make its way all the way down across the Gulf Coast. This trough will continue to deepen as we get into Monday morning, allowing that colder air to move farther to the south. So a good portion of the Midwest, the eastern half of the country, the southeast, going to be feeling a big chill in the air overnight tonight into Monday. And of course, that cold air settles in Monday and into Tuesday, giving us likely our first freeze of the season. So these are our forecast low temperatures by early Monday morning, right around the sunrise or just before the sunrise. We're mainly looking at the mid to upper 30s. Now, with there being a little bit of a wind in place that may prevent some frost from developing, not a bad idea though that even with this staying a few degrees above freezing, to still protect any sensitive plants that you would like to keep. People and pets certainly need to be protected from the cold tonight. Again, we are not acclimated to it at this time. This is truly our first cold blast of the season. So maybe before heading to bed in the next few hours, checking on some of your neighbors if you know that they're elderly. This is likely going to be a time where many of us are going to be turning on the heat overnight tonight. Hopefully that is going to be working well because you're going to need it again throughout the day on Monday and especially into Monday night. So people and pets tonight certainly need to be protected. I do recommend protecting plants even though we may be still a few degrees above freezing. There's a chance that a few spots may be able to see a little bit of frost. But again, even with a bit of a wind, that may be hard to develop. However, best to be on the safe side just in case things get a little bit cooler. Tomorrow afternoon, a sunny, breezy, but chilly day. Our high temperatures tomorrow not getting out of the low to mid 50s, even though we are going to see a lot of sunshine. You'll probably want long sleeves and a jacket tomorrow. Then the biggest chill arrives Monday night into Tuesday. This is a look at our forecast low temperatures Tuesday morning just before the sunrise. We're looking at temperatures at freezing, even on the coast. Mid to upper 20s are expected inland. I would say areas like Wiggins, Lucedale have a better chance of hitting the mid 20s. Same goes for areas across the Pine Belt. Mid 20s are expected. And with temperatures getting that low, I really would consider wrapping up any exposed pipes at that point. I'm not as concerned with that along the coast. However, always better to take those precautions just in case things get a little bit colder. And of course, Monday night into Tuesday, people, pets, and plants definitely need to be protected from the cold. We are looking at a widespread freeze pretty much across the board, and that's why that freeze watch has been issued for all of South Mississippi. There's a very good chance that will be upgraded to a freeze warning tomorrow as we get more and more confident with what we're seeing in the forecast. So just to reemphasize again, make sure people, pets, plants are going to be protected from the cold, especially Monday night into Tuesday. Maybe if you know of some elderly neighbors, elderly friends, make sure that they have a way to stay warm. Check on people that may be a little bit more vulnerable. Make sure your pets have a way to stay warm the next few nights, just because, again, we are just not acclimated to it at this point. Plants definitely need to be protected Monday night into Tuesday. Not a bad idea to do that tonight as well. If you live farther inland, Monday night into Tuesday, especially Stone and George counties, even into parts of Pearl River County or in some of those river basins, I would go ahead and wrap your exposed pipes just in case. Those areas are going to have the best chance of hitting temperatures in the mid to upper 20s. Maybe open up some cabinets to let some of that warm air in your home circulate a little bit more. And if need be, let your faucets drip as well. Again, I'd much rather that happen or people take precautions rather than pipes bursting. Again, I'm not as concerned about pipes though along the coast. I'm mainly talking for inland areas Monday night and into Tuesday. So you may be thinking that this freeze is happening a little bit early this year. The earliest freeze that we've had on record for Gulfport was November 3rd, and there have been times actually farther inland where we've seen temperatures at freezing even in October. So not totally out of the ordinary. However, I've been living here long enough to know that sometimes we don't see freezing temperatures until December. But it just so happens that this year it looks like we're going to be hitting our first freeze of the season early to mid-November. Not too far off base. Again, history tells us that at times we have seen freezes even in October. So in addition to the cold, I also want to talk about the wind. So Monday morning, it is still going to be breezy, still could see some gusts over 15 miles per hour, certainly going to be windy over the water. Small craft advisories remain in effect, and in fact, a gale watch has been issued for offshore areas heading into Monday. So not the best day to take the boat out, to say the least. Tomorrow afternoon, it is still going to be breezy with winds out of the north and northwest. Could see some gusts upwards of 25 to 30 miles per hour at times. The wind is going to be relaxing a little bit more as we get into Tuesday morning, and actually that's the reason why we're going to be able to cool down a little bit more. We get more of what we call radiational cooling as the wind dies down, the sky remains clear, and it's also going to be very dry. Tuesday, we're actually going to see winds a little bit more out of the south and southeast. It's not going to be quite as chilly on Tuesday, still a very cool day with highs in the 50s, but the wind is going to be calmer. So again, tomorrow, not a good idea to take the boat out. We are keeping a strong wind out of the north and northwest. Rough conditions are expected. Small craft advisory remains in effect over the sound. Offshore, we'll see if this happens. There is a gale watch. We'll see if that needs to be upgraded to a gale warning tomorrow. The gist of it is seas are going to be pretty rough tomorrow, so not a great day to take the boat out. As for our quick look at our tides, low tide will be happening right around midday or so. Keep in mind with that north wind, we may see that tide pushed out even more so by low tide. So you may see a little bit more sand exposed if you're driving on Highway 90 across the Sound by midday on Monday. High tide is going to be happening overnight Monday and into Tuesday morning. So going back to that wind though, we are going to be under a red flag warning Monday, the later part of Monday morning and into the afternoon as the wind begins to pick up a little bit more. Basically, a red flag warning means to avoid outdoor burning because the wind is going to be strong. The humidity also going to be extremely low. We've had some very dry air move in behind this cold front, and we haven't had a ton of rain lately, so any fires that get started tomorrow could spread very, very quickly due to the dry vegetation, the low humidity, and also that strong wind out of the north. So that's why we are under a red flag warning throughout the day on Monday. If for some reason you absolutely have to burn, please be mindful. Otherwise, I highly discourage burning throughout the day on Monday. The risk is looking pretty high based off of what we're seeing. Now, this is South Mississippi, and it's still early November, so this cold snap not going to last too long. Monday and Tuesday, high temperatures are going to stay in the 50s. Once we get into Wednesday and Thursday, we will warm right back up into the low to mid 70s. Closer to average for this time of the year, and that warmer weather likely will continue into the weekend. Even though we are expecting cold nights tonight into Monday, tomorrow night into Tuesday, we are looking at lows well above freezing by Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. In fact, it's going to be pretty mild by those nights, or I would say just more so on the cool side with those lows in the 50s and even the low 60s by Sunday morning. So this cold blast, it's short-lived, but as we know, we haven't even started winter yet. So this is probably just the beginning of a few more cold blasts heading into the winter. But just from my experience living here, usually these cold blasts are not lasting very long, and that's going to be the case with this one. So the reason why you see that cold alert there, that is for that freeze watch, which will likely be upgraded to a freeze warning Monday night into Tuesday. People, pets, plants certainly need to be protected. If you live farther inland, if you have any exposed outdoor pipes, you may want to consider protecting those as well. So these are going to be certainly some of the coldest nights we've had so far this fall season. I don't think there's any denying that. And when you factor in the wind, that's going to make it feel even cooler. So Monday, we're looking at highs in the low to mid 50s. We'll be just a tiny bit warmer on Tuesday. And then we're right back into the 70s by the end of the week. In terms of rain chances, slim to none throughout the work week. Now, heading into the weekend, it looks like we may have a decent chance for more showers and storms by Saturday and into Sunday. We'll keep an eye on things. There's a lot of details to work out with that next system, but at this time, that is our best chance of seeing a little bit more rainfall. But over the next 4 to 5 days, rain chances slim to none. So it is going to be very chilly and very dry over the next few days. So time now is 7:24. We will be having our hour-long newscast coming up tonight at 10 o'clock. I'll have another update on this cold blast that we have been tracking. Plus, we'll have the latest news coming up here in South Mississippi. So hopefully you join us at 10 o'clock this evening.